The big thing that I do focus on is obviously protein intake, but the diversity of plants and sleep. After doing this diet, I had lower inflammation, I had lost that creeping fat in over 3 months, and my sleep has improved dramatically. Hello everyone, I'm here in Joshi. Welcome to Game of Crohn's. So what we're going to be talking about today is my journey with my gut health. So when I was initially diagnosed with Crohn's back in January 2021, my doctor at the time, Dr. Devine, had mentioned that there could be a connection between gut health and sort of the symptoms that you experience with Crohn's disease. Now, at the time, I sort of took it as a flippant comment. I had seen then a consultant specialist after that, and they had said the same thing, that, you know, I need to look at obviously the FODMAP and look at foods that might trigger me, get control of my stress and sort of like daily exercise. But something that they suggested was to just explore reading and learning about, you know, gut health. So what Dr. Devine had suggested was to read up on probiotics and prebiotics. So I think we're all familiar with probiotics, such as, you know, certain yogurts and like sauerkraut, which is great for gut health. But what I was unfamiliar with is prebiotics. So prebiotics are typically high fiber foods such as bananas, apples, you know, garlics, greens, these sorts of foods. So the great thing about prebiotics is that they act as sort of a food for the microorganisms within your gut, and they help improve these microorganisms, whereas probiotics are there to help maintain the good gut bacteria. So once I started to learn a bit more about prebiotics, I started to then incorporate it into my weekly diet. So that was just eating more bananas and apples earlier in the day, so either within my breakfast or alongside breakfast. I would also look at including garlic and onions a couple of times a week, but these foods also can be irritants for people who are experiencing, you know, a flare-up, whether it's Crohn's or colitis. So if you are experiencing quite extreme flare-ups, then it might be appropriate to cut back on these types of ingredients. But then once you feel like your body is getting closer to remission and in the healing process, then maybe slowly introducing these types of prebiotics back into your diet will hopefully in the long term help you with your symptoms and general gut health. Now, the research was key, and this is something that I found difficult at first, because obviously you Google anything and you might be overwhelmed with lots of articles, lots of people claiming they know what they're talking about. I'm just going to recommend the things that I had read, but it's the Clever Gut Diet. Lots of interesting things, but occasionally he will talk about sort of gut health, and he'll talk about certain foods and things to avoid, things to include. That's all research backed, so it's backed by peer-reviewed research, which is what we want to be sort of exposed to a lot more than, you know, any old sort of opinion piece. What the book taught me was just how important gut health is. So another person I want to mention is Dr. Tim Spector. He is a sort of fantastic researcher. He was initially an epidemiologist, but he's now talking more about nutrition, and he also is big on gut health. So I heard him on a podcast a while back. It was around mid-2023, and he was talking about the 30 plant a week challenge. Now, what is this? So I was curious. Dr. Tim Spector basically suggests that having the minimum of 30 different plants a week can help diversify what your gut microbiome is exposed to, which will then help improve the diversity of the bacteria in your gut, which can then have long-term benefits to your body. So I think the first thing that I needed to do to really wrap my head around this 30 plant a week challenge, because it sounds quite overwhelming, is what do we consider to be a plant? And sort of re-establish what we see as a plant was key into how I and my partner move forward with and prepping meals and finding and creating recipes that help us increase that diversity of the plants that we consume. So plants can be obviously your vegetables, your fruits, but also things like grains, seeds, nuts, lentils, legumes, coffee as well, teas. There are multiple different things that are classed as a plant, and I've created meal plans and lists to help track and increase your plant intake per week. Feel free to DM me and I can send you a link to this free resource which has lots of recipes on and sort of meal hacks and snack hacks to make sure that you are exposing your body to a high level of different plants. Now, I've been doing this for just under a year and I've felt the benefits. Now, my sleep has improved quite a lot since being on the 30 plant a week diet. I still eat meat. I still consume certain poultries and fish as well, so salmon in particular, which is great for lowering inflammation, and also high in omega-3 and 6, so that's good. That's also great for your body. But the big thing that I do focus on is obviously protein intake, but the diversity of plants, and sleep is something that I have noticed that has improved. I'm getting a lot higher quality sleep. My deep sleep has increased as well. We'll talk more about sleep hygiene, but I use a device to then track my sleep, and I have noticed significant improvement within that over the last sort of like 10 months. I also lost sustainably some body fat through doing this diet. So I do exercise very regularly, but I had noticed that I kept similar sort of regime to exercise, but I started to drop weight, and I dropped 5 kilos in about 3.5 months from starting this diet. So there are benefits to having sort of healthy weight loss from this diet as well, and that's important for people with Crohn's and colitis who have sort of that creeping fat just around your midriff. This has helped me reduce that, so I would also recommend the 30 plant a week challenge for that. Now, something that was interesting, and obviously I go to hospital every sort of 6 to 12 months to have regular checkups on my inflammation level. So with stool samples, your doctor will look at the calprotectin levels. Now, these are a sort of inflammation marker within your sort of intestines. Back in 2021, I believe, my calprotectin levels were around 800, which is high. When we had the latest tests around, I think it was like mid to end of November last year, so this was a good couple of months after I started the diet, my calprotectin level is at 200. So that's a significant drop in the space of a few years, but also from the year before, which was 600 to 200 is quite a massive drop. So I imagine that the 30 plant a week diet has contributed to the decrease in my sort of inflammation markers. Great thing is that after doing this diet, I had lower inflammation, I had lost that creeping fat in over 3 months, and my sleep has improved dramatically. So because of that, I would highly recommend, 1, learning about your gut health, 2, looking into having this 30 plant a week diet, because exposing your gut to a diverse range of plants is obviously benefiting it, and that will benefit your health overall in a holistic way. So stay tuned for more, and don't forget to subscribe and message me if you want any of these resources. I'll send it to you for free. And also, let's not forget, stay healthy.